with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
This is Duck Insider.
Duck's gonna pick it up, and here we go. Got him deep. He's open. He's got it. And he's gone.
How about that?
Oregon repeats as the Pac-12 champion.
Duarte pulls up, 3-ball. Bang!
LJ Figueroa!
Oregon goes back-to-back for the fourth time in the last 6 years. The Ducks are Pac-12 champions.
Foley three. Goal! Mike fires and hits a three. Left wing, pow. Yeah, boom, boom.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
What a weekend.
We're just getting started.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. Presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Spring football is back. The Ducks on the practice fields this morning. Rob Mosley with the Quack Minute. Also his report on GoDucks.com coming up. And without further ado, we've got the head coach Mario Cristobal for you in just a moment as he met with the media following the start of spring practice. That's on the way. We've got about 21 minutes of Mario Cristobal giving you updates on Oregon football. That in a moment. We'll also hear today from Brett Walker and Tanner Smith previewing Oregon baseball, and congratulations to 4 Ducks that are opening the season in the majors on the Major League roster in David Peterson, Tyler Anderson, Kyle Garlick, and Cole Irvin. We also got Brooke Nuneviller talking about Oregon volleyball in action tonight at 7 o'clock. Baseball's first pitch is at 4. Softball's first pitch is at 4 as well. We'll hear from all of those programs coming up. But first, spring football is back. Tons of updates from Mario Cristobal, and we're going to turn it over to the head football coach. He'll update you on everything going on around the Ducks program following the first of 15 spring practices.
Yes, sir. Well, again, good afternoon, everybody. Good to see everybody. But before I even get started, probably have to take a moment to congratulate all the great things that have been accomplished by the rest of the athletic department. I think you've all been watching. We've all been watching and supporting and cheering. But I'll start with track and field and their national championship in both men's and women's basketball, Sweet 16 appearances, and the men's Pac-12 tournament win. Softball being number 3, soccer beating the number 1 team in the country, rattling off 5 straight matches. Volleyball 16th, acro and tumbling number 1. I think softball starts their series with Oregon State today as well, as a number 3 team in the country. So huge congratulations to them. Always awesome to be able to support them and be a part of that, of this family. So that being said, also really fired up because we've had our first true off-season work in a long, long time. So it's been great to jump right into spring ball after having a full 6-7 weeks of the fourth quarter program, and felt that it showed up today in the way that we moved and the way that our bodies are looking, how much faster we look, the size, muscle mass, and we look more explosive. Now, I'm not saying we're ready to play a football game, but we certainly look like we have done our work this offseason. So that was certainly great to see. Player development's always going to be a huge component of what we do, but it's been a long time, been almost a year. So what we got going today, pleased with the effort out there. Obviously, there's some rust to knock off, but the enthusiasm, the energy, the attitude is exactly what you want. But we have to continue growing as a team. And we have a lot of things we want to improve upon. And some of the things we touched on last time we met, and some of the things we'll continue touching on. But we want to make sure that we elevate our standards of everything that we do, improve the way that we execute all phases, our physicality, our toughness, our effort, our discipline, are all things that we want to get better at. We want to be more explosive on offense. We want to be more disruptive on defense. We want to create competition at every single position, and we want to make sure we create roles for every single player on our football team. And to do so, we got to elevate and make our teaching progressions, our teaching standards elite. And we're certainly, we've invested a lot of time in that, and we expect that to pay off in a big time way. But lots of guys have been here for a while, and they've developed to the point in time where now it's their turn to have an opportunity. And then we have the most early enrollees we've ever had here since our arrival at Oregon. And it's really, it's impressive to see how much these guys have put in terms of work in the weight room and studying our our playbooks and our systems to be able to jump out there right away today and certainly look the part in our first day of practice. But while we've groomed leadership and developed leadership, we also want to create accountability. And we want to also create a more resilient team by presenting our team and presenting situations and opportunities to battle adversity in practice, backed up, very difficult 2-minute situations, 4-minute situations, stuff of that nature. And then, of course, we have our offensive and defensive and special teams goals. But I thought that'd be a good way to start things off for you guys. Appreciate you being here. And that being said, open to questions.
Let's start with James.
Mario, just a ton of personnel updates I wanted to get from you in light of injuries and who's back and who's not kind of thing. For one, Rendazzo opted out. Is he back? Sampson obviously opted out and had a family issue this past year. Is he back? And you mentioned some of the early enrollees. Who joined, if anybody, during spring break? Is Jonah Miller here? Who else has arrived in the last couple of weeks?
Okay, so in terms of some of those guys, Sampson, there's 3 guys that are actually medically retired now. One of them is Chris Rendazzo, the other one is Sampson, and the other one is Jonah Taunu, okay, as well. Okay, and these are things that obviously we haven't spoken for a while, but things that have transpired over the last couple of months or so. In terms of guys that were injured during the year, you know, guys that missed time, significant time, were Spencer Webb, Patrick Herbert, Dante Manning, Adrian Jackson, and Jackson LeDuc. Those guys are all back full speed. Trey Benson is progressing very well. We expect him to be back in the summer. Jalen Smith is progressing. He also had a setback, so he might be a little bit longer, deeper into the summer. Cam McCormick, he is progressing well. We feel like, you know, I know it's been a long road for him, but he's battled really tough, and we're very optimistic. Salah hurt himself in the USC game. He's also progressing. We feel he's going to be well by the time the summer rolls around, but he will miss spring ball. Jalen Jeffers is really close, but we may prevent him from having any real physical work this spring, just from a precautionary standpoint. But he looks good, and he's doing everything except the heavy contact stuff that we're about to do. Justin Flo progressed very well, and we expect him to be full go in 2 weeks. He's been participating in a limited manner. We mentioned Jackson LeDuc. He's done well. The new injury that we had during team workouts was Sean Dollars. He had a pretty significant leg injury, and he'll be out for the summer. We expect him back during the season at some point.
And the only other one would have been CJ then with the thumb?
No, CJ is full go. CJ was another one that I forgot to mention, but he was full go today. So 6 of the guys that were injured during the season are back full go. Another 3 are either full participating minus a couple of reps or due to fully participate in the next 2 weeks.
AJ Jacobson.
Coach, obviously quarterback's going to be huge coming up this next year, and you're going to be starting a new quarterback for the season. How do you anticipate distributing snaps this spring amongst all the candidates in terms of snaps with the 1s and 2s, and how do you view that unit progressing during the spring camp?
Oh, we're excited about that group. There's a lot of talent in that room, and we're, way before we enter spring, in fact, right after the season, we always meet with our position groups and let them know what spring is going to look like, what the sets, the racks, the reps look like, so that there is no confusion, there is no miscommunication. So heading into spring, they're very well aware of where they are, what they have to do to get better, and the opportunities they're going to have to compete for this position. And today, if today is an indication of what we're going to be like, it's an exciting time for Oregon, because these guys did a really good job today. They're very competitive. We're going to place them in competitive situations. They're what you want, but it's obviously the one position that's always the focal point of every team. In terms of the competition, how we construct that for them, we make sure that it's as rigorous and as demanding as all the other positions.
Max Torres, Ducks Digest.
Mario, a lot of people are excited about Ty Thompson and what he brings to the quarterback position. Just want to hear, what you saw from him today and how you feel he's progressing.
Yeah, day one, I think all those guys did well. Robbie did really well. Butterfield did really well. Those guys did well. In reference to your question, I'm sorry, Ty. Yeah, he looks the part. You know, we knew he was a great talent coming in, and in the little that we've seen, he hasn't disappointed. As well as in his competitive nature, him and all those guys, they attack the opportunities that we have, whether it be a workout, whether it be a film session, they attack it, and they've got the right DNA. And so, yeah, we expect great things from Ty, no doubt.
Ryan Thorburn, registered guard.
Mario, how will Pro Day work tomorrow? And given the fact that you have some elite prospects, but they haven't played for a couple seasons, what kind of questions are you getting about Panay and those guys?
Nothing but great questions, really. I really do believe that the situation out west was a lot different than the rest of the country. I mean, it wasn't like we were told it was going to take a little while. I mean, we were postponed twice and really canceled, right? And there was no guarantee of actually playing a season. And that's when the opt-outs took place. I don't think anyone should judge that. Those guys were tremendous competitors. They all had, well, they were juniors, so they were going to play anyways. But some of the guys that were seniors that did opt out, they had made the decision to return, had gone through spring ball, had gone through the offseason. So they had every intention and carried out their intentions through actions to play this year. It just didn't happen. So the questions have been all positive. I think they see the type of regimen and structure that we have here, and they've put their eyes on that film. They've burned their eyes on that film, and they see that these guys are productive, tough, physical, smart football players with great reputations. They're loved by their teammates. They're high accountability guys. I think draft day is going to be a great day for the Oregon Ducks.
Matt Preem.
Yeah, Mario, so much has been said about Ty, but what's Jay's development been like? I mean, a couple years ago, he was one of the most decorated recruits in the country, and it feels like he's maybe kind of flown under the radar for whatever reason. Just your thoughts on Jay and kind of where he's at as well.
Well, Jay's certainly not flying under the radar in practice because he's doing a great job. He's talented. He's a big guy. I forget, when we recruited him, he was really thin, and the weight room has certainly paid off for him. And it's impressive to watch him throw the football with such ease. I mean, he can launch. He's the guy that can throw it from the hash to outside the opposite numbers, which, not many guys can do that. He's very smart. He's very accurate, hard worker, another guy that's tough. I think both him and Ashford, I mean, this is a great quarterback competition. It's how you want all your rooms to be. So we expect very big things out of him as well.
Tyson Alger.
If you got a runner on third late in the game and there's a fly to center, are you sending that guy on Ashford? Just, I know we've heard from Coach Waz about a month ago about kind of the balance that he's going to have this spring, but like, where do you view his development at as football? And I mean, it's probably had to have been fun for you to see some of those plays that he's had on the baseball.
Well, first off, since we got Coach Waz as center fielder, I expect Coach Waz to get me a defensive tackle somewhere here, right? Maybe in a form of a catcher or something like that, I hope. So Robbie's a competitor, and what's really neat is watching how much fun he is having and how it's changed him. His GPA jump from the fall to the winter with the extra demands that he had on him is, those things are always there in parallels, right? A guy gets better academically, a guy gets better on the field, takes care of his business. So that guy's he's an exceptional competitor, man. I look forward to seeing more, but I totally forgot the question you asked.
Brandon Cameraman, KVAL.
Hey, Mario, does the change in the spring schedule, the fact that it's a little bit later, and the fact that you don't have spring break breaking it up, is that a benefit? Is it a detriment? Does it even matter?
Well, it's a great question. It's very new for myself. But when RC, remember, it was so hard for us at the beginning because when we went home in August, we were home and there were no classes since we're in a quarter school, right? It started late. The season was put back on. So we came back 6 weeks later, and then we went straight through, and then we went straight through the holidays. So we gave them extra time on the back end and came back about 2.5, 3 weeks later. The freshmen were here a little bit earlier, which was neat. I think we'll do that forever going forward. have those guys to ourselves and get those guys acclimated, especially a group that large. But it was very important that we got ourselves 6.5 to 7.5 weeks of true off-season work, strength and conditioning, the fourth quarter program. I mean, to be able to change the bodies like we want them to change, we have to be able to do that. And that time was essential. The only thing that's difficult is here, your finals week and your spring break eats up 2 weeks. And you have to trust your players to go home and stay in good shape and come back ready to practice because you're rolling right away. So that being said, we like it. And we like the fact now that we're spacing out the days where we're working Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday with lifting, film sessions, walkthroughs in between. It's a great learning, I would say, regimen and structure, especially for that many new guys.
Mario Cristobal, the Oregon football head coach, meeting with the media after the first spring practice today, the first of 15 ahead of the spring game, which will be the 15th practice coming up on May 1st. More details on the spring game at Autzen Stadium still to come, so stick with us as we navigate the waters and figure out exactly how everything is going to look. All right, we got more from Coach Cristobal. Quick timeout when we return. The Oregon football head coach continues his conversation after the first spring practice on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Hi, welcome to the Spicy Drive-In. May I take your order?
Can I get the spicy chicken sandwich, please?
The spicy chicken is an excellent choice, sir. And to drink?
Whatever's fine.
Oh, may I make a beverage pairing recommendation this evening?
Sure.
If we are feeling especially bold tonight, sir, I would recommend the Mountain Dew with that. It's bravely unrestrained with a very alive aroma that pairs wonderfully with your spicy chicken. It's followed by a hint of zesty citrus flavor.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
I'm sure you already know this, sir, but remember to appreciate the nose first by giving the Mountain Dew a little swirl to relieve volatilize it.
What?
To change the flavor compounds and activate your taste buds to get them fully primed for that chicken sandwich.
It's delicious.
Now you're getting the hang of it. The muscular flavor charge characteristics of Mountain Dew make for an absolutely epic mouthfeel when paired with spicy cuisine. It is quite on point, sir.
Dude, it's a perfect match. Like they were made for each other.
So true, so true.
When you want to make good food bolder and bold food better, do the Dew.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics. This is the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Okay, man, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. Cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Show the world that you're tougher than tough.
Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Is that a faucet running? That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink.
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
I didn't know the trees were so amazing.
Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb.
That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Back to our quick timeout. It's Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joy Mack inside the Country Financial Studio. We continue with the Oregon football head coach, Mario Cristobal, meeting with the media after he had the first practice of the spring. The Ducks, good to see him back out there on the practice fields today. Coach Cristobal met with the media. We continue hearing from the head man. That's what everybody wants to hear about today, is the start of spring football. More from Oregon football head coach, Mario Cristobal.
Well, again, good
Andrew
afternoon.
Hobner, KZI.
Yeah, Mario, last fall you talked about how, COVID kept you guys from doing some of the off-field stuff, the guest speakers, the leadership stuff, the chemistry building things. Now that we're entering, lower risk and looking at that potentially into the summer, how much is that going to be a boost, provided that you didn't have that last year when you lost so many senior leaders?
Oh, we can't wait for that opportunity. I mean, we're very, every place has its secret sauce. Ours is, the way we do things. And part of the way we do things, we take a deep dive into our people. That's how we get to know each other. We invest time. We spend time with them. We do it all, man. I mean, from the paintball stuff, which, man, that stuff hurts when it hits you and you're not covered up. But the paintball stuff, the going out there to the dunes sometimes, going on hikes, spending time at some of the sporting events around. So we can't wait for those opportunities to surface again. James Capel is going to have a barbecue at his pool out at his condo for the whole team, is what I understand, or something like that. So we're waiting for those opportunities to come open again so we could all, bring it together. Thank you, James.
Julian Minson, KZI.
Mario, are there any players that you're excited to see what they could do with the full kind of spring off-season program this time around?
The list is long, and I don't know where to begin, because it's at every single position you have guys. You really do. And I'd almost be shortchanging the team if I started on one and didn't go through the entire roster with you. I can tell you that today, guys, the older guys make plays. I'm watching Jalen and Johnny, Micah Pittman make plays. And then I see Dante Thornton, Troy Franklin go up and haul a couple, tremendous passes. I see guys in the secondary like Verone out there leading and making plays. I see a guy like DJ James whose body is changing, and him and Mikael Wright, what a combination that is. But now Dante Manning is healthy for the first time. And you forgot, man, that guy was here for a year but never got to play. And you see him close on a ball carrier. You see him eat up that space between him and a wide receiver that created some separation. And you just get excited all over the place. Very excited about the young defensive linemen. When I say young, I mean, guys like Keon, I tell a lot of these guys, like, look, man, last year was a pandemic year, never before experienced by any of us. I don't know what that year is like. Yeah, there was a season, of course. There's some things that were done, but, almost like, man, not a full year of development and training like we usually do. So it just goes on and on and on. The young offensive lineman, I can't start because I'll keep going. I saw Mo caught a big ball today. Terrence Ferguson, Marcus Harper looked great. We talked about the quarterbacks already. Chris Hudson, gosh, he's fast. He's fast, guys. That guy can flat out go. But it goes on and on. Special mention to Cross Patton today too, man. Cross Patton went out there and made a bunch of plays and did some things. So Kingsley, Bram Walden, both those guys, just Faope, big Ope, has like a human eclipse. So I guess we'll zero in on the guys as you guys ask questions about certain positions. That way I won't, eat up your time and I could get you the information that you want.
James.
Addison and Jalen, are they on offense or defense for each of them? And then to the line of scrimmage, like you just mentioned, Mario, more on just snap count management, because you guys can go almost 4 deep on the O-line, and on the interior D-line, you're also you're like 17 guys. What do you want from me? You can go almost 4 deep, and the interior.
Irresponsible journalism right there is what that is. Jalen Smith is on defense. Brian Addison is also on defense. We are about 2.5 deep on the O-line, and that's the way it goes in programs that want to be successful in the trenches. Okay. But, you want to make us 4 deep, you can come out and play guard if you want, brother. But, right now we're still at that number.
We got time for 2 more, Max.
Yeah, Mario, want to stay on your guys, the offensive line, a little bit here. How big is it for them, you think, to have a full, albeit shortened season under their belt, and what do they need to do to take the next step?
Yeah, man, I don't think I've ever talked enough about a couple guys really proud of George Moore. George didn't play much high school football before he got to junior college. And when he got here, I mean, that's a baptism of fire now, because you went into a regimen and a structure where some real seasoned upperclassmen that hold themselves to high standards. And George just kept at it, and he allowed us to push him. George has really become a good football player, and him and Ryan and Salah, I know he's injured right now, but Alex Forsyth has become such a great leader. TJ Bass has become a really good physical, dependable player who's got a really big future. And then Stephen Jones now at 340 pounds, he's a very large man. He's really at the 6'7" mark. He is that big, and you lose sight about how massive he is because you just see him every single day. He's trimmed himself down to 340 pounds, and he looks special in his movements, special in the way that he's approaching his business. He just lets us do a bunch of things schematically. But there's so many guys talk about Logan Sagapulo. He looks so much power. That's a 700-pound squatter. Naturally, that just has been doing that his entire life, training like a power lifter, and translating that over to football, Jonathan Dennis is a guy that really pops. Dawson Jaramillo, it's now time for Dawson Jaramillo to be in that mix as well, because he has placed himself in that position by hard work and changing his body. 305, 302 pounds right now, and moving fast and playing low, opening up his hips. We mentioned the young guys. I could go on and on about those guys, and then some of those guys that have walked on. Kai Arneson. I mean, all those guys have done a really good job.
Last question, Ryan Thorburn.
Mario, there was kind of a small window between when you hired Andy and started spring that year. Obviously, it worked out well, but it seems like Tim has some more time to get on the same page with everyone. What are you seeing from the defense? How does it look so far?
I think everyone will tell you right away without hesitation how fired up they are about Coach DeRuiter. We're a very rigorous screening process, and we wanted a guy that can really put it all together and that has had experience at a really high level and can help us improve. That's what we do every time, right? We try to get better no matter what position. And he's been outstanding, and day one really shows his level of experience in terms of teaching progression and marrying up terminology to eliminate confusion and create a very, I would say, much easier way to learn to communicate. And when you match that up with a guy like Marcel Yates, who's been around and has coached a lot of football at a lot of good places, I think our players, you'll see, because I'm sure you'll spend time talking to them, how much they love, the things that we are moving to and helping them understand it better, helping them be in better positions to make plays, and just overall just help our team get better.
Mario Cristobal, the Oregon football head coach. Tons of updates for you. If you're just joining us 26 minutes into the show, we've spent the entirety of it listening to Coach Cristobal give updates after the first spring practice this morning, with the spring game coming up on May 1st. If you missed it, you want to hear any of what Coach Cristobal had to say, couple options. Subscribe to the Oregon Sports Network podcast, where we put our shows every day, and you can also watch the show on archive on YouTube or the GoDucks Facebook or on the Oregon Sports Network Twitter. Go to the beginning of the show, and there you'll find Coach Cristobal. Up next, a ton going on around Oregon athletics, including something pretty darn special. Hayward Field reopens tomorrow. We're going to tell you about that. Also, Oregon baseball first pitch coming up at 4 o'clock today. Keep it here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics, because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat, or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning lingo.
Hundo P. Hundo P. Adjective. Short for being 100% sure or certain. As in, if we get a puppy, I'll Hundo P always walk it.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack inside the Country Financial Studio, and on the strength of their standout performances last week at the San Diego State Aztec Invitational, Xavier Noreen and Ben Milligan have been recognized as the Pac-12 Track and Field Athletes of the Week, respectively. First time since 2016, by the way, that the Ducks have swept the men's honors when guys named Devin Allen and Cody Danielson did it in the same week. Pretty darn cool. Hayward Field opens tomorrow, and we're going to hear from Robert Johnson tomorrow as the Ducks will host the Hayward Premiere going on as the new Hayward Field is going to be competed at for the first time, which is just awesome. Meanwhile, baseball series starting today. Mentioned Tyler Anderson, David Peterson, Kyle Garlick, Cole Irvin. Congratulations to those Pro Ducks on opening day rosters across the MLB today, with first pitch already thrown in the new baseball season, which is always great. And the Ducks are coming off an 18-run performance against Arizona. They salvaged a game in the series, lost a 1-run game on Friday, got beat pretty good Saturday, but bounced back and won 18-13 in a slugfest in Tucson on Sunday. Brett Walker was the starting pitcher in that game. A lot of pressure on a guy when your pitching staff got beat up pretty good the day before. Brett Walker talked with myself and Rob Mosley this week about bouncing back and some of the keys here down the stretch for Oregon baseball. A top 25 team right now with first pitch coming up in a 4-game set against New Mexico State today at 4 o'clock. Brett Walker talking with me and Rob.
There's a lot to chew on from looking at the results from last weekend. Just as a staff, what were your guys' big takeaways? What do you want to learn from, build on all that from the series last weekend?
Yeah, after a tough weekend like that, I mean, you always have to try to get some positives when we gave up a lot of runs. So looking at the positives, there's some good things that happened. I mean, got out of a lot of innings that we could have made bigger. Arizona could have scored way more. And then I think moving forward, it's just about executing more pitches. I mean, our whole thing is executing pitches. And I mean, I can't speak on behalf of Robbie and Kafka's start, but when I got my report back after my start, I executed 61% of my pitches. And that's not good. I mean, as a team, we try to execute 70% or more a game. And so I was way below that. So that wasn't good. So moving forward, I'll just be focusing on sticking to our game plan of executing pitches.
What's your mindset and what's on your mind, Brett, heading into that start on Sunday? I mean, that's a lot of pressure to try to salvage a game in a series on a starter's shoulders.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think being at the University of Oregon, you expect the pressure no matter what it is. So I love the pressure. I mean, pressure is, my dad always says pressure is a privilege, but that's kind of how it is. I mean, you come here to be in those big situations. So I just wanted to win. I mean, I wanted to do whatever it took to win. And that's how I think our whole pitching staff is. We just want to win. And that we'll do whatever it takes to win.
We're selling tickets for the game for the series this weekend. What does it mean to you guys? I know you've played a couple series on the road with some fans in the stands. What were those experiences like, and how much you looking forward to seeing a few more people at PK this weekend and beyond?
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, with some good weather in Oregon, maybe we'll even have some more fans than normal. So that's always nice to see. It's good to be back in a more of a normal atmosphere, I guess. I mean, with taking the safety precautions that Lane County has set on us, I mean, it's exciting. I mean, it gives more of a normal life, and it's kind of like a light at the end of the tunnel type of situation. And it's fun. We're excited. Our team's excited, and we just got to go out and win Thursday.
Good stuff from Brett Walker, man. Just talking about how fans will be in the stands. Yeah, GoDucks.com. Tickets for Oregon baseball coming up against New Mexico State, 4 o'clock today, 4 o'clock Friday. Doubleheader starting at noon on Saturday. It's going to be great. I hope that the weather's awesome, and to Brett's point, it's going to be great to have you all back out there. Meanwhile, we also got to know Tanner Smith a little bit more this week, as Tanner's a guy who does a lot around Oregon athletics. You'll hear Rob and I talk to him about that, and the offense, they can hit this year. It's a top 25 team. The offense looks pretty darn good, particularly at the top of the order. Tanner Smith, a couple of leadoff home runs this year. He's given the Ducks a spark. Talked with him heading into this 4-game set at home against New Mexico State. Tanner Smith.
Tanner, I see you as a guy who likes nothing more than maybe to be doubted, to maybe have people asking questions. So it wasn't surprising to see the way you in particular kind of bounced back Sunday, but how would you describe your mentality going into that game and the team's mentality and the way you responded in that situation?
Yeah, Rob, you honestly couldn't describe it better. I think this is a team that really enjoys playing with a chip on the shoulder. Really loves seeing that we're not favored to win every ball game we play in. And all Sunday was just like Coach Martin said, it was just an identity game for us. It really just showed, like what kind of team are we going to be when things don't go smooth sailing. And we kind of just took it as a must-win game, which it really was. And it's like, okay, the first two didn't go our way, but, we're not going to go out here, losing three. We're going to just find a way to salvage one, and that's what we did.
Kenny, you mentioned that you guys like playing with a chip on your shoulder. When you are a top 25 team now and you guys are learning how to handle success, what's been the mental approach for you, for the team, the message from the coaches on how to handle success? How do you maintain that chip on your shoulder when you are favored to win some of these games now? Right.
Yeah, no, it's the ranking and all that kind of national publicity is new for all of us in a way, in a sense. But how as far as just maintaining that is just not settling. The coaches do a really good job on making sure that, it's amazing to be, 16, as high as 10, maybe in some polls, and how great of a feeling that is. But at the end of the day, the most rewarding feeling is going to be, being number one at the end of the season. And so, keeping that mentality, keeping that mindset and that vision of, dogpiling, at the end of our year, that really helps us maintain the course, that we're on.
I thought I read you made the Dean's List last quarter, and I wonder about with everything on your plate, and particularly this last year, what's it been like kind of staying on track academically and thriving that way, as well as kind of staying on track with your baseball?
Right. Yeah, no, that's a great question. Especially with quarantine and how just hectic and crazy of a year it was, with things getting shut down and whatnot, it really was just a time to just kind of focus on, my priorities, really just have an endless amount of times during days where everything's shut down, you're in quarantine, to just kind of focus on what you need to get done. And school was my biggest priority this term, and I'm glad the hard work paid off for that.
To follow up on that, actually, Tanner, you've been involved in a lot of other, for lack of a better phrase, extracurricular activities around the athletic department. Can you just talk about that a little bit and how much you've just sort of gotten involved in the community even throughout quarantine too?
Yeah, absolutely. I was unbelievably blessed to receive a co-chair position to be an exec for the O Heroes, which is just an honor. It's been a crazy year, not being able to do so much in person, but that was kind of special, just being able to find ways to just do whatever I can to provide and give back to this community that does so much for us as a program, us as a school, and the Oregon Athletic Department. And just being able to do whatever I can to just show my thanks for that is kind of why I do it.
Speaking of the community, you might have a few more community members in the stands. We're selling tickets for this series. What's it been like? A couple series. I know you've played on the road with some fans in the stands, and you guys looking forward to having some folks cheering for you rather than razzing you going forward?
Yeah, absolutely, no doubt. I think every single person on our team is excited. It's going to be nice, maybe hearing less of that crowd noise, that fake crowd noise, going on, and finally hearing some real voices and hearing, just having good fans in the crowd. I think we're all really excited about that.
Waz's been talking a lot about how this stretch you guys are playing ranked teams back and forth is so critical. Now you're back at home for 4-game set. Then we got another top 25 series coming up. Just how critical is this stretch, Tanner, in the context of the entire season? Still so early, but it feels like a critical stretch.
Right. I think it's awesome. I think it sets a great foundation for the rest of the season. Like you said, yeah, it's the first half of the year, maybe quarter of the year. But it's awesome to start this way and playing really good competitive teams, because it just kind of lays your foundation, and it gives you that mindset of where you need to be throughout the rest of the year. So I think it's an awesome stretch, and I'm glad it worked out the way it did.
Yeah, the Ducks are really in a gauntlet of a stretch, as we talked with Tanner Smith, getting to know him a little bit there. And, hey, on the Dean's List, impressive stuff from Tanner Smith. The Ducks got to keep it going. 4 o'clock first pitch coming up against New Mexico State with some fans in the stands. You want to come watch a little baseball this weekend? I know I do. I'll be in the stands with you today, actually. Alex Simpson's going to be in the booth because we got Duck Insider. He's setting up. And then, yeah, I'm going to be in the stands. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. Sunshine, going to be awesome. First pitch coming up at 4 o'clock. Following back-to-back top 5 finishes, by the way, and a record-setting round, Tom Giant earned Pac-12 Men's Golfer of the Month honors for this month of March. The conference announced that just today. Congratulations to Tom Giant as Oregon men's golf continues to rebuild a little bit under Casey Martin. Pretty darn impressive. Coming up, volleyball is on the road. The Ducks are on the hunt for a Pac-12 championship. Tonight, 7 o'clock, we're going to hear from Brooke Nuneviller on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Freedom, Toyota hybrids say, let's go, faster and further, with 10 hybrid models to choose from and tons of top tech. The best part? Every Toyota hybrid offers an extended hybrid battery warranty for 10 years or 150,000 miles. So let's go places. Toyota hybrids.
For Toyota hybrid, plug-in hybrid, and fuel cell and battery electric vehicles beginning with model year 2020. The hybrid HV battery is covered for 10 years from original date of first use or 150,000 miles, whichever comes first. Coverage is subject to terms and conditions of your new vehicle limited warranty. See owner's warranty and maintenance guide for details.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield IMG College.
I'm probably okay to have one more drink before I drive home. I'm probably okay. I open the window to stay alert. Probably okay. I just popped some gum in my mouth.
Step out of the car, please.
I probably made a mistake.
Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
I want to be a warm fleece on a cold day.
Football
I want to be
stadium.
a bike that races around the country.
I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union inside the Country Financial Studio, getting ready for baseball coming up at 4 o'clock. Also, Oregon softball at 4 o'clock this afternoon. If you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, softball on the Pac-12 Network, Oregon live stream will have you covered for Oregon baseball. We're going to hear from Allie Bunker coming up in a little while, talking a little softball. But first, the Oregon volleyball team is in action tonight. The Ducks will be taking on Arizona State. It's on the ASU live stream at 7 o'clock. And if Oregon gets a little help from the Cal Golden Bears and Washington loses a match this weekend, if the Ducks take care of business and win the 2 matches in Arizona, one tonight at 7, the next at noon on Saturday, then the Ducks would be Pac-12 champions. Brooke Nuneviller talking about the home stretch with myself and Rob Mosley, and man, it was a good conversation. Real quick, I did see a question, are we going to see any cartoons this year before games? I think we're talking about, some of our creative content that you'll often see with the comic strips before Oregon football from our man Wild Kingdom. I think that's a likely... I don't know. That's not my realm, but I would love to see it. Wouldn't we all? They've been so much fun. Yeah, that's good stuff. All right, Brooke Nuneviller talking about how Oregon volleyball hunts. A lot of sports. I almost said baseball, softball, whatever. Oregon ball hunts for a Pac-12 championship. Brooke Nuneviller talking with myself and Rob.
Brooke, I was talking with Coach Ulmer last week, and then even after the matches this week, and he was saying that you guys are like that close to just finding that consistency in your offense. How close do you feel you guys are to that consistency, and what's it going to take for you guys to get there?
Yeah, I think just the more reps we take, the better it gets. We're getting better and better every single game. Everyone's contributing in different ways and learning how to score more effectively. And I just think the more we play, the better we're going to get.
I was talking with Coach after last weekend about kind of staying in the thick of things in terms of the conference race. And he was like, hey, we just want to go on a long postseason run. That's his priority. How are you guys balancing sort of competing kind of big picture goals that way?
Yeah, I think we know how close we are to a Pac-12 championship. And obviously that would be amazing, but we have to control our part first. We have to win the next 2 matches and just kind of hope that something happens. But whatever happens, we know that we're going to be in the post series in the NCAA tournament. And I think we can go really far in that. I think we'll be a top 16 seed and we'll get a bye in the first round, hopefully. And I really think that our team just gets better and better every single game we play. And so that'll be great in a run in the postseason.
How key is it to have just a full roster, and how nice has it been lately to have that fuller roster to find some of that consistency and go on a deep run?
It's been great having everyone back. We have such a deep roster. Taylor Williams has stepped in multiple roles and has done a fantastic job and has gotten us wins that we have needed. And so having everyone back just gives us even more options. Taylor Borup has obviously done a great job stepping in. She's a key component to our passing, our offense. And like you said earlier, Joey, she's a huge part to our offense and the consistency.
Similar to what Rob said, just being in the thick of it, how big of a deal would it be to have that top 16 seed and to have that bye? I mean, it's such a unique situation this year, just how critical is that here down the stretch?
I think that it'll be amazing if we're a 16 seed. We were 15 my freshman year, and it was even great just getting to host. But now we're going to get a bye if we get that spot. And even if we're not a top 16 seed, if something happens in the rankings, and even if we win out and say we're 17, we're going to get that extra match of competition that I think will even get us better. So whether it's that extra match or a bye, I think we'll be in great shape.
Yeah, you've been on a team that went on a run. So what, is this team doing some of the things that team did, even if it's not the same exact things? Kind of, do you feel like you're in the kind of place you need to be? Does experience tell you that you guys are where you need to be late in the regular season to position yourself to play well for a few more weeks?
Yeah, we're a very different team than we were my freshman year. We had a lot of quick, explosive, more honestly, probably a little bit faster plays my freshman year, but I think we brought in so much power this last year and we've improved on strength, and we're just so physical that we're just a different team. But looking at like the attributes that all of us bring, we really are connecting really well. And I'm not looking at any team in the tournament and saying we can't beat them. I'm going into every single match. I really think that we have a great opportunity if we play our best volleyball.
How key have been the development of Kylie and Elise to kind of what you guys have been doing? Just how much progress have they made over the last couple of years, over the last few weeks, to kind of get you guys playing at a high level?
Yeah, setters are like our quarterback for football, and they run our offense. They have to make passes look better, and their defense has gotten tremendously better, which is huge because a lot of the time teams want to target a back row setter to get them out of system, but they're handling those balls so well. Georgia Murphy's been a great out of system setter for us too. So they're just running the offense really great. And again, another key component to our consistent offense.
I think that's actually been the biggest key. So I loved Brooke's description there too for volleyball fans. You're usually trying to target the setter when you're attacking, because then the setter isn't the one that's setting at the net, right? Like, it takes you out of system. And so the fact that the Ducks have been so good defensively and they're running a system that allows them to be a little bit more versatile on offense, it's made for a really successful offense this year and a really fun team to watch. They're athletic. And Brooke Nuneviller is a great example as Oregon volleyball hits the road tonight, 7 o'clock, ASU live stream. Ducks got to take care of business. If they win 2, they've controlled what they can control on their way to a Pac-12 title. And Duck fans, you're all Golden Bears fans. Rooting against the Golden Bears against the Huskies this weekend, because if Washington Volleyball drops a match and the Ducks win 2, Pac-12 championship here in Eugene, which would be pretty darn cool. Meanwhile, after starting the season 2-1, including a win over then top-ranked Baylor, Oregon Acrobatics and Tumbling has moved up to the #1 spot in the poll release yesterday. The Ducks opened the season with a win over Arizona Christian before handing Baylor a loss on March 6th. Ducks actually did lose their last meet, though, to Azusa Pacific on March 25th, so still some growing to do. And for Acrobatics and Tumbling, they're going to be hitting the road to Waco here before too long. We'll tell you about that coming up. National Collegiate Acrobatics and Tumbling Association also announced its Week 7 awards here this morning, and Oregon's Addie Lacewell has earned Specialist of the Week honors. Peyton Kuhn claimed Honorable Mention Athlete of the Week recognition. Meanwhile, coming up next, we're going to hear from Allie Bunker talking Oregon softball as the Ducks, they're playing the Beavers this weekend. It's a big series for Oregon softball. Talked with Melissa Lombardi earlier this week. We're going to hear from Allie Bunker next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Okay, man. This is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're going to go out there and be an all-star caregiver. Cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You got to dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Show the world that you're tougher than tough.
Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Is that a faucet running?
That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink.
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
I didn't know the trees were so amazing.
Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb.
That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union and inside the Country Financial Studio. Today's show always brought to you by North Fork Public House, open for dine-in and takeout, northforkeugene.com, and by Crumble Cookies. Come see Crumble Cookies off Coburg Road if you're here in Eugene. Oregon softball is playing Oregon State this weekend, a 4 o'clock start today, and a doubleheader that will begin at 2 o'clock on Friday, and then the Ducks will finish the series at 5 o'clock on Saturday in Corvallis. Oregon, a top 5 team in the country right now. Got to keep winning. And they got to do it against a pretty good offensive team in Oregon State, as we talked with Melissa Lombardi earlier this week. We'll finish up today's show, though, hearing from one of the stars of their offense right now, as Oregon's been hitting pretty darn well. Allie Bunker talking with the media heading into this series in Corvallis.
How do you emphasize starting quick without getting over-aggressive?
Yeah, I think just knowing that we have what it takes and kind of taking that drive we have from the previous day of coming back from a deficit, I think that just pushes us to know that we can do it, like we can do everything. I mean, I think our big motivation factor is just knowing we've come back from those deficits and we just want to get on top early and not have to deal with coming back so that we have to press from there.
I mean, I know you're always trying to coach people up, but what kind of things do you pass on to those who may not be hitting so well right now?
I'd say simplify it. I mean, I'd say freshman year, it took me a little while to get off to a good start. And even this year, I had a little bit of a hard time this week, like for a couple weekends, figuring it completely out. And I'd say for anyone who is struggling, I tell them you just need to simplify things. You can't be thinking of 5 different fixes at once. You got to focus on one at a time, the one that you think is going to make the biggest difference. And once you fix that, you go from there and see what happens. So if you overcomplicate things in hitting, it usually doesn't go your way. So simplifying it is the key word for sure.
You played a lot right away when you were young. What's your impressions of Brito and how she's adjusting to this level?
I think she's unfazed. I'd say all of our freshmen are unfazed at this point. They kind of were expected when they got onto campus to act a certain way and to be like the upperclassmen, and that's just our expectation of them. And they've definitely followed through on that, and they've met our expectations and exceeded them. They're just they work just as hard as everybody else, and they're here working. And it's not a matter of if you're a freshman or a senior on this team. You're all playing together, you're all having fun. So they've just done a great job of adjusting to college.
Ollie, what's it like defensively? I mean, you've got 5 pitchers who, in all rights are aces on their own part. But when you're playing behind, they each bring something different, but they're all really special. What's it like playing defense behind such a great staff?
I'm not going to say it's easy, but it definitely feels like a big weight's off my shoulders. I'd say freshman year when we just had Jordan for the long haul and we had a couple others step in who hadn't necessarily pitched, it was a little bit more stressful, that Jordan has had freshman year like a long weekend and she didn't have the same stuff she does the first day. I mean, no one's capable of pitching the same 3 games in a row, 5 games, however many she pitched. But knowing that we have a fresh arm every single outing is just a great sigh of relief for everyone, I'd say. And we know that everyone on the staff can strike people out and get the ground balls and get the fly balls. So just having them and not them having to be tired or deal with the fatigue has just been a great this year.
Allie, when you guys faced Oregon State in that 1-game series, you had a nice game. Is it hard to kind of take what you've seen from that 1 game versus facing them in a series? How will you kind of approach the scouting report, I guess?
I think every team takes every single weekend into account and every game into account. They're going to be watching film from us from that game and film from us this entire season. So I think knowing that we have to adjust as we go, and your first at bat, you might see one thing and the next you might see another. You just got to adjust, and that's what we've been doing our whole lives. So knowing that I probably won't get pitched the same way as someone else, and knowing that everybody's plan will probably be different, but just adjusting to that.
Adjusting is key. Allie Bunker talking about that and more as Oregon softball faces Oregon State with a 4 o'clock first pitch today. All right, we're done with Duck Insider. Now running to PK Park. And fans, if you're going to be there, I'm so excited to see you. 4 o'clock first pitch. Ducks against Mexico State. Top 25 baseball team coming up. Talk to you tomorrow for Duck Insider.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Hundo P. Hundo P. Adjective. Short for being 100% sure or certain. As in, if we get a puppy, I'll Hundo P always walk it.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.